Thanks for joining us for another edition of Blinkers Off on this Monday night. We've got a busy show coming up tonight. Very shortly we'll visit the stables of Graham Seymour, better known as the King of the Kids. He's had great success in the last decade with young horses and he's about to hit the road again. So that special feature, a two-part feature of Graham Seymour coming up very shortly. Also, Kevin Seymour, we'll chat with Kevin Seymour. He was trackside at Albion Park on Saturday night. Mr. Feelgood flopped in the WA Cup, so we'll get the latest with Mr. Feelgood and Kevin Seymour very shortly, and we'll also have the highlights from Albion Park on Saturday night. That's all coming up in tonight's episode of Blinkers Off. But firstly, we start with the news. Last week, David outlined that there was some sort of discrepancy with the figures as far as harness racing is concerned here in Queensland. I can report David did take a call personally from Bob Bentley, and those fixed odds figures have been included into those summations there. So they are spot on correct as they outlined last week. Smart Queensland pacer Al White Knight has arrived in Victoria and he will be nominated for this Saturday night's Shepparton Cup. He could be one of two Queenslanders in the Cup because Daryl Graham is still hopeful that Lanarkos will be able to start in the $50,000 Group 2 feature this weekend. The end of the road for very smart trotter Milburn Michael. He was unbeaten here in Queensland, 7 starts, 7 wins. He suffered his second bleeding attack and as a result of that, he's been barred for life. It wasn't a good week for the Rasmussen stable because Talk and Emotion again was a scratching, but it's nothing too serious and hopefully she'll be back at the track very shortly. Speaking of good fillies, American Promise, she's been ruled out for a couple of weeks. She's got to have an ease up after tying up badly after track work recently for trainer Shannon Price. Pete McMullen and one of his owners, Garth Ritchie, both spotted in the North Island of New Zealand during the week on a buying spree, so expect the McMullen stable to be rolling out a few new Kiwis in the coming weeks. Albion Park expects some upgrades at Albion Park as far as the betting terminals are concerned. They've been deep in discussions with Tatsbet officials and there could be some upgrades coming to Albion Park in the next couple of weeks. And speaking of Albion Park, don't be surprised if plans are submitted this week for a new grandstand at Albion Park. Certainly well underway as far as ideas are concerned for a new grandstand there at Albion Park. Inter-Dominion Pacing Championship starting on February 17. Third rankings will be released tomorrow. That's Tuesday, so we'll look forward to them. 3 over 3. He's not too far away. The last start Group 1 winner of the Australasian Breeders' Crown. Expect to see him at the trial track either later this week or early next week, but he's not too far away. The very, very good pacer Mochu Crusade is back in Queensland. He'll undergo a few more tests, and if all is okay, he'll be going back to the stables of Luke McCarthy in Sydney. Speaking of Luke McCarthy, XL Stride, he's only probably less than 2 weeks away from a return to the racetrack, and for a reason is now doing fast work, and he'll be off to New Zealand later this week himself. And also, that Tim Butt inquiry regarding Raglan testing positive to arsenic will take place this week. So that's all the news in harness racing. As I mentioned, Kevin Seymour trackside at Albion Park on Saturday night. Mr. Feelgood, his champion pacer, flopped. Let's find out the latest. Damien Courtney spoke with Kevin.
Well, Kevin Seymour joins us tonight, the night after Mr. Feelgood's somewhat disappointing run in the West Australian Pacing Cup last night. Kevin, how did you sum up the race? And I suppose you've spoken to Luke. What did he think?
Well, I guess best way I can say as I summed the race up is that I'm really glad I didn't go. I mean, it would have been a long way to go to see him run in such in inglorious form. But I have spoken to Luke, and Luke has said that he hasn't travelled that well. He thinks that the travelling might have affected him. He had to go from Sydney down to Melbourne, and then he had to wait in Melbourne for 48 hours. The plane was delayed, and then across to Western Australia. So we tend to think that it's the travelling, and maybe a bit of the heat. When he arrived over there, it was extremely hot in Perth.
Now, the intentions, I know, were to give him another run in Western Australia before the Inter-Dominion Series. I suppose you've just got to now just wait and see how he goes over the next few days and how he pulls up.
Yeah, we've taken some blood out of him, and once the blood comes back and we see how that looks and how he sort of freshens up over the next few days, we'll then make a decision. But there's definitely no certainty that he'll go to Fremantle.
His form in Victoria was outstanding, Kevin. So last night's run, one of the worst he's put in Australia. Is that fair to say?
As much as I hate to admit it, I think, yes, it is probably one of the worst he's put in. But I think there are excuses for him, and I'm not going to get too despondent. I think that there's a chance that he will recover fairly quickly. If you think of when he went down to Newcastle, he travelled all the way down. he was a little bit jaded when he got down there, and he didn't race too well in the Newcastle Mile, but then he recovered the following week.
Plenty of time before the Inter-Dominion, so that's on your side anyhow.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's one of the reasons we're going over there is for the Inter-Dominion. He may well go to stud next year, so we're looking to win as many of the feature races as we can for promotion advertising.
Kevin, thanks for your time tonight.
You're welcome, and I'm just sorry that I haven't got better news for you.
Let's keep our fingers crossed, and I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Thanks very much, Damien.
Let's go to our first break tonight on Blinkers Off. Plenty more coming up. Welcome back to Blinkers Off. Let's go to our special feature tonight. We visited the stables recently of Graham Seymour. He's about to hit the road, so let's go and have a chat with Graham. Graham Seymour is an excellent trainer of juveniles. His record speaks for itself. He's had great success over the past couple of years. In particular, last season with the Archduchess, he's bound for Southern Riches and he's about to hit the road. So let's go and have a chat to Graham before he heads away. Graham, busy time of the year for you. You're about to hit the road and go and tackle some interstate features with a small group of your team.
Once again, Chris, it's going south time.
The Archduchess is the stable star. You're looking at quite a few features in Sydney to start with.
Yes, she's going down for the Wraith Memorial. At this stage, she's going for the Wraith Memorial on the 27th, I think it is. I can't remember exactly when the date is, but we'll be leaving on about the 21st, so it's probably a week later. And then for her is the Oaks Heats, then to Bathurst, and then back, I think, for the Oaks Final if she gets in it. Okay.
As far as other horses that are travelling south with the Archduchess, who are you likely to take?
At this stage, I'm taking Caesar Augustus for sure. He's still not doing fast work yet, but he's doing a lot of hard, solid work for Bathurst. He will more than likely, I'll take him down there and see if I can get him in the Sapling Stakes. I'll try and give him a start before he goes. He's not quite ready yet, but we'll give him a start maybe next Tuesday or maybe just before I leave if I can find a 2-year-old race for him. Otherwise, he'll go straight down there and try and get into the Sapling. Depending, if there's too many nominations, they won't give him a run, obviously. But then he can just get ready for the Lyndon Huntley heats while he's there, and by that stage, he should be ready to run.
Okay, we'll touch more on him a little bit later. I want to touch on the filly first of all, the Archduchess. Wonderful season last season. I think, as it stands, she was the richest earning juvenile in Australia last season.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she beat the boys and the girls, so yeah, that was pretty good.
Over $200,000 in the bank.
Yeah, with bonuses, she got nearly $240,000 or something or other. Yeah,
it's a good earn.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Did she exceed your expectations last season?
She did, because I actually took her down as a travelling companion for the Angel's Voice. But the Angel's Voice had a bit of knee trouble and she never reached the potential and has since had operations to fix a small fracture she had, and she's in the paddock for, probably another 4 months or something.
It was a busy season for the Archduchess. As it turned out, she never missed a dogfight. She was in all the big races, so very competitive. She got the big Group 1 Nursery Pace final. That must have been a very satisfying night for you.
Nursery Pace was good because we didn't have a lot of luck in Bathurst. I thought she should have won that. She trained in 2 minutes after the heat, and I thought, oh well, they'll have to, she'll run a track record in the race, and they won't be able to catch her. As it turned out, the first half was in 66, so everybody was in it, and she got run down. So that was a little disappointing. And the gold, she went 56-2 or something. I beat her nose by Rosa Mack, and probably if things were a little bit different, she probably would have won that as well. So it could have been an absolute huge season, but I'm not complaining about $250,000.
You ended up finishing her season with a trip to Melbourne, but as you went south for the Australasian Breeders' Crown, she wasn't quite right by the end of that season.
No, she had a bit of a problem. She had a liver problem when I brought her back from Bathurst. We thought it was because someone painted a fence in her yard out the front there, and the people over the back, and we thought she could reach over and eat it. So we had it analysed, and it had a bit of crap in it that was going to upset her, and it probably did. And we sort of treated it and couldn't do much about it. Her enzymes were up about 150. They should be about 30. And I put her on Bergamet, and that sort of halved it. And I thought, oh well, if I can halve it in 2 weeks after treating her with everything else for 2 months, maybe I can get her south. So I raced her a couple of times here. She didn't go all that good, but I thought, well, that's because her enzymes are down. That's because she's not 100%. So on vet's advice, Lester said, yeah, you can still take her. It was not going to do any more damage, and you're going to give her a spell afterwards. So I just thought that if the Bergamet could halve it again, which it did, it got it down to about 45 or 48 or something or other. I thought, oh, well, I'll still race her, but she still didn't go any good.
That's a natural product, isn't it, Bergamet?
Bergamet, yeah, that's a product that Vince Lombardo put me onto for myself, actually, when I had some problems, and I rang him up and asked him. I said, I can't get this horse liver right, And she was supposed to go out in the paddock for 6 months to try and regenerate it, and he said, no, just put her on the bloody Bergamet. He said, that'll fix her. He said, have a look at me. I've had half my stomach cut out, and I'm running a marathon. So, yeah, so I said, all right. So we worked out a dose and shot it down her neck, and she was, 2 weeks later, I got another blood done, and it was halved. So I thought, oh, well, that's better than anything else, all the other liver preparations that you've got to give that you can't race on. So I thought, well, I'll just keep going with it, and I have. And then I only turned her out for 5 or 6 weeks after the Melbourne races. And I had to because I wanted to keep treating it, because by the time I got back it was still up around the 50 mark, 56, and I thought it's not going to be healthy to keep doing that. And we're still trying to figure out what actually causes it, what allergy is doing it. But the liver's quite good now. I think it's back up to it's down to about 42, and as long as it doesn't get any higher than that, I'm pretty happy.
Is it something that you're always going to have to treat with her?
I think so, because once they get liver damage, it takes a long time to recover from it. So I've got to stay on top of it. And as I say, I'm just so happy to have the Bergamet.
Let's concentrate on this season. You've mentioned the features coming up in Sydney for her. It was a busy campaign last season and her rookie season. This season's going to be just as busy, if not busier, because there's a lot of Oaks races. But along with your partner, Alpha Laspina, that's what you concentrate on, you guys, the featured juvenile races. Yeah,
we breed horses. The last couple of years we've had a full book. We've had the mares have all produced, so we've got 13 or something them between a year and on the ground. And for next year we've got about 7, but that's what our season is usually from January till 1st of September. We don't usually keep them after that. I try as hard as I can to sell them after their 3-year-old, or sometimes during their 3-year-old if there's some wins in them. You want to try and move them on as quick as you can, because I know I've got the others coming. And once they get in here, as you can see, there's not that much room, and you get 10 horses in the place, and it's chock-a-block. And there's only Mark and I, and Mark works like a dog, but you can only do so much in 24 hours. So, and also the track closes over here at 10 o'clock, so he starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. I try and drag myself out of bed by 8, but.
Part 2 of that feature will come up next week. He's about to hit the road. Exciting times ahead for Graham Seymour, headed up by the likes of the Archduchess and Caesar Augustus. We'll take another break on Blinkers Off. The Albion Park highlights coming up next. Welcome back to Blinkers Off. Time now to look at the highlights from Albion Park on Saturday night. Let's go to the action of race number 1. Mad Eye Zinger takes it out for Grant Dixon. Lightning Magic travelling well within himself, still leading 3 metres. Mad Eye Zinger about to be called on. Our Crush at Us sitting 30, just waits on the passing lane. Northern Gem 1-1. Explosiveness the inside, then Aqua Blue Girl, Rocky's Image, Fortunate, Franco's Lancelot, and Arc de Jean back straight quarter. It was covered in 29.8. Lightning Magic on the approach, still travelling well, leading 3 metres. Mad Eye Zinger trying to close. Our Crush at Us third. Aqua Blue Girl starting a wide run. Fortunate following up behind it. Next was Northern Gem there, homeward bound. Lightning Magic being tackled by Mad Eye Zinger on the outside. Mad Eye Zinger race to the lead. Aqua Blue Girl, Fortunate wider. Mad Eye Zinger the favourite, pulling out plenty. He's too good. Mad Eye Zinger beat Aqua Blue Girl, Fortunate, Photo fourth. Rocky's Image or Our Crush at Us, then Lightning Magic. Wide out was Arc de Jean, then Explosiveness. A break to Northern Gem, then Franco's Lancelot. And just arriving after being tailed off throughout was Forest Crusader.
Well, Grant Dixon takes out the first at Albion Park tonight on Mad Eye Zinger. Grant, it was a well-deserved win, a good run last week.
Yeah, he's been sort of getting back to form, and it's just good to get him past the post first.
Hiccup here 2 starts back when he caused a false start and he was out of play early on in the race, and last week's run was extremely good leading into tonight's win.
Yeah, he looked tonight, if he could get around him reasonable, that he'd be hard to hold out for sure.
Well, the tactics proved a winning way for you. You made that move mid-race and got to the breeze fairly comfortably, although the leader did get fired up a bit coming down to get the bell. Yeah,
they were rolling at a reasonable clip. I was sort of happy enough to get around there, but they were rolling a bit, but he felt comfortable, so he finished off good.
Top of the straight, were you confident of winning? He looked to have the winner covered. The challengers were coming down the outside.
Yeah, he felt pretty good. He's a bit of a lazy fella. You sort of have to drive him up a fair bit, get him to the line. But he's sort of, hopefully he can just sort of keep building on that now.
He's a smart horse when he's right. Do you think he's getting back to his very best?
Oh, hopefully he is, but the grades aren't going to get any easier now. But I think he'll keep sort of working through his grades.
Good result for the stable with Aqua Blue Girl running second, and that was her second run back from a break and a much encouraging run. Yeah,
she's a nice mare. She done a really good job last season, sort of got to her marks fairly quick and won a lot of races. So hopefully now she can sort of hold that form now and keep earning some good dollars.
Good way to start the night, Grant. Well done.
Thanks very much, Damien.
That's his first win this campaign, Matt Zinger. He's a good quality pacer. He was placed in the Chariots of Fire in Sydney as a 4-year-old, and he thoroughly deserved his victory there on Saturday night. Let's go to the action of race number 2. He's a Prince was a dominant victor of this race. Rasmussen took the drive. Here's the replay.
He's a Prince is travelling at the turn. Oh, he's got them beaten. He's a Prince leads the way by 8 metres. Jazzabout battles away. Play Sure Bet struggles. Then No Place to Hide. Riverboat Rosie very wide with Return of the King. But it's all the favourite. He's a Prince. He's straightened with a mighty lead and he's going great guns. He's a Prince is going to destroy them. He's a Prince wins by 15 metres. Second, tight. Return of the King just in front of Jazzabout. Fourth, maybe the inside. Better Bet Black. Then I'm a Gangster. No Place to Hide. Art Zone. Play Sure Bet. Out towards the tail, Oliver Royal with a Riverboat Rosie.
Well, the star driving-wise of harness racing in Queensland in the past week's been Courtney Rasmussen. Courtney, congratulations. We're at Albion Park on a Saturday night. 12 winners in the past 8 days. It's a remarkable record.
Well, if you get to drive nice horses, you're going to get some winners. So, yeah, no, it's been good.
And opportunities are starting to come your way too, apart from your own horses. We're talking about horses like Forever Gold and Miss Namber, Harry Will Do. But you've picked up drives now for, of course, your sister stable, Vicky, and also for Grant Dixon.
Well, at the moment, Shane's got time. So while he's out, I'll do a bit of their driving. And they've got a really competitive stable, really nice stable. And Grant's, he sort of needs a driver there at the moment. They've got a lot of runners, so giving them a hand as well.
Well, that's right. Grant's often got multiple runners per race, 2 at least, and sometimes 3. So while Grant's choosing what he probably thinks is the best horse, he's often not right, is he?
Well, he's a good driver and a very good trainer, and he knows what they can all do. So, yeah, no, it's good to drive for him.
As we've seen in a number of your wins, it's not so much what happens in the... Well, it is what happens in the race. Luck comes your way.
Well, it's just funny. That's how racing goes. When your luck's in, everything just goes right. But when it's out, it doesn't matter what you do, and it just doesn't work. So when you're on a winning streak, it just all happens.
Yeah. So you're feeling very confident? You're feeling at the top of your game at the moment, Kylie?
It helps when you go around a lot. The more you go around, you sort of know the form. You don't have to sort of try and learn the form. You race the horses all the time, so you know who they are and what they do. So it's just going around all the time.
I think that's probably indicated in one drive tonight, and that was Glenfarg who won the claiming stakes, because you're in the running line and you switch back to the inside, and normally people would say, what on earth is she doing going back on the rails? But could you talk us through what your thinking was?
Well, when I saw that Cougar's Blue Jean had led and Shorty Star was behind the leader, I thought, they'll both keep going. And seeing how Glenfarg is a sit sprint horse, it's hard to come wide. And if you're back in the running lane, you've got to go very wide, and sometimes you won't even get a run. So I thought the fence was the place to be there. And it did work out. A lot of times it doesn't, but it did in this case.
Yeah, so things, as you said, paved out beautifully with Shorty Star getting off the fence before the turn and you accelerating through in that gap. But it was a very intelligent drive, because, as you said, if you probably stayed in the running line, you either get locked in or come out 3 wide, and the winning chance is gone. Yeah,
well, that's right. It did work well, and it makes you look good when it works well, but, a lot of times it doesn't, so.
You're really busy at the moment. You and Darren, of course, you do a lot of educating and breaking in of horses, so you're finding the time management difficult at the moment?
At the moment, it's not too bad. We've got really good help there at the moment, which makes it a lot easier. And the kids are on school holidays, so that makes it a bit easier as well. But, you know, we're managing and it's all going really well.
I couldn't interview without talking about Forever Gold. She was great again tonight.
Oh, she's a scary horse. She just only does what she has to do, and she feels very good to drive in that, but she's quite frightening the way she only wins by a small amount each time. But no, she's good horse.
She knows how to find the post in front, but...
Oh, she does. She sort of labours on that last corner a bit, and then she just gobbles up the ground in the straight. But no, she's very good.
And you broke her in as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we've had her from the word go. She comes straight down from Albion Park, and yeah, she's been at home ever since.
It must give you great satisfaction when you do that, when you take them on as a baby and you take them, it's a bit like a kid teaching them to walk and to talk and to feed and all those things. So you must gather a great immense pleasure from seeing her race so well.
Well, it is. It's nice because, you know, when they come down as a baby, they're an unknown quantity, and, you know, they don't have to be the nicest type, the flashiest horse, the best bred, anything like that. You know, if they've just got that will and that heart, it makes them good. And being around them all the time, you know every little detail of them and every little aspect of their nature. So, yeah, no, it's good.
All right, Kylie, we could talk a lot more about the way you're going, but congratulations, you're a very hard worker in the industry and deserving all the success you're getting at the moment. And certainly, as we've mentioned to Murray earlier on, we wish you and Forever Gold all the best in the weeks to come.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, what a week it's been for Kylie Rasmussen. 12 winners in the space of 7 days, an outstanding effort. And Forever Gold is one of the star horses that Kylie's been able to be part of in the past week. And she had the drive behind this outstanding mare who lined up in a race 4. This was the feature on Saturday night.
Franco turnaround leads the way by a neck. Forever Gold is nice and handy on the outside, just going up to test this leader for the first time. Ultimo third, sweeping around them, 3 wide, Cullen's Impact. Highstead the centre, White Power Lord the inside, then Zinzan Bramac, Panasar and Dan's Gamble. The sprint well and truly goes on, back straight quarter, 29.6. Franco turnaround, has it by a neck. Forever Gold trying hard on the outside, Cullen's Impact 3 wide, Ultimo the inside, Highstead still there, the centre. Then White Power Lord, Panasar, Zinzan Bramac. Dan's Gamble drops out. It's Franco turnaround with the lead. Forever Gold has to dig deep on the outside. Forever Gold draws level with Franco turnaround. Pokes the head in front. Pulls away the favourite. Too good again. Forever Gold from Franco turnaround to Ultimo and White Power Lord. Just behind them, Cullen's Impact, Highstead, Zinzan Bramac, Panasar. And at the tail was Dan's Gamble with a buckled wheel.
Well, Murray Cole joins us tonight after Forever Gold takes out the New Year Series final here at Albion Park. She did it well, Murray?
Yeah, she did. You know, Kylie worries about it because she only does what she has to do. You know, she doesn't put that extra effort in, and that's what worries Kylie about it, but she seems to do it quite easy.
It seems to be a bit of a racing pattern of hers. We've seen on a number of occasions at the top of the straight, just for a few strides, the leader sort of doesn't get away, but maybe holding her, but gee whiz, she knuckles down and she really knows how to find the line.
Yeah, that's what worries Kylie, you know, because she doesn't know when she's going to go or not. Yeah, but she just keeps going and we're wrapped with her.
Okay, well, about 5 weeks ago, you made a decision to take her over to New Zealand for a couple of very strong races there, and she performed very creditably, third to Carabella and Better Cover Lover. You're happy with both of those runs?
Oh, we were wrapped, you know. They were 2 top-class mares, and everyone said they were cup-class mares, so... And we ran third to both of them. We beat the Lovely home twice, and she's over $500,000 earner.
Well, along with Talk in Motion, there's undoubtedly they're the top 2 mares in Queensland at the moment. What now over the next month? There's some very tempting races in New South Wales.
Yeah, I'd say Darren and Kylie will look at them, the 3 lead-ups or the ones to get the invitation to the Ladyship Mile.
They come up very, very shortly, I think, down in Menangle, and of course the Ladyship Mile, I think, is $200,000 first weekend in March, so it's going to come around quickly.
Yeah, it will, because the heats start next Saturday night or Friday night, then 2 in February.
Can we get Kylie to travel with her?
Hopefully this time she will. Yeah.
All right, mate. She's a wonderful mare. Lightly raced, 31 starts for 21 wins now, and she just keeps giving you lots of enjoyment.
She does. And we bred her and we've seen her grow all the way through, and it's been an unbelievable ride, and we're just enjoying it.
All Right, mate, and Darren and Kylie doing a wonderful job, continuing a wonderful association.
Yeah, they're doing a magnificent job, and Kylie's on fire driving. You know.
She sure is. All right, mate. Well, let's hope she flies the Queensland flag proudly over the next 4 or 5 weeks in New South Wales.
Thanks a lot. I don't think she'll disgrace herself. She'll do well down there.
We look forward to seeing Forever Gold stepping out in Sydney as she builds on that Ladyship Mile campaign, and I'm sure wherever she lines up, she's always going to be very competitive. She's a high-quality mare. They were the highlights from Albion Park on Saturday night. Just before we go, don't forget there's plenty of stars stepping out in New Zealand in the next couple of days. Speaking of the New Zealand stars, Mark Purdon has arrived. And look out for Lombo Pocket Watch tomorrow night, along with Mr. Nickel and Mark West Posh. All of those stars are stepping out around Australia tomorrow night. That wraps up tonight's edition of Blinkers Off. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Good night for now.